Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. You guys asked for more goblins, and here I am to deliver. I've got a mostly gobbo build. We've got a few of the bigger boys here, but it's mostly gobbos here, especially, gobbo leadership corps, and we are fighting up against the wood elves once again. I was sort of inspired by Gobbo King's build, so we've got a similar build here with a few minor alterations, so let's go through it. A Night Gobbo Warboss on foot. He's got most of his abilities here. Wog, Spite of the Bad Moon, Tormentor Sword, and get back here. Also got a Gobbo Big Boss on a Spider, as well as a Night Gobbo Shaman, Sneaky Stabbin', and Itchy Nuisance. And another thing to note about the Night Gobbo Shaman is this Sneaky Steal-In. So every time that you cast a spell, your opponent's magic recharge rate is reduced. Very, very useful. We've also got 3 Goblin Wolf Chariots. One of them is the Regiment of Renown Tiefrabbas, which you guys so aptly pointed out, yellow does not mean go fasta, red means go fasta. But still, looking very, very cool with their yellow paint scheme here. We've got the Depths Creepers and another unit of Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. And over on the far side, the Moon Howlers and another unit of Spider Riders. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Wood Elves build here. I guess I should talk about my infantry line a little bit. It's just a front line of goblins. We've got the 2 regiments of Renown out on the flanks, 2 Biggins, a Black Orc, and 2 Night Gobbo Archers. Neither of these are the Regiment of Renown. Now for the Wood Elves here, we've got a Glady on a horse, a front line of 3 Dryads with 2 Sword Dancers on the flanks. We've also got 2 Eternal Guards for anti-large support on the flanks, 2 Glade Guards, no Starfire Shafts, just regular old Glade Guards, 2 Starfire Shafts on the far side, protected by an Azrai Spear, and I believe there is a Branch Wraith in here. Yes, indeed. We've got Earthblood, Melcosmifying Miasma, and Penumbral Pendulum, all very good spells. We've also got a Sister of Thorn and Wild Rider over on the far side, so we'll watch as the battle unfolds here. These Wild Riders and Sisters are going to be kind of doing a little bit of skirmishing. I switched my melee cav over to the other side here, and now I brought my skirmish cav over to kind of do some early game skirmishing. Can see those Spider Rider Archers have already taken a pretty severe amount of damage from the Glady's arrows. Her non-armor piercing attacks will do quite a bit of damage to a Spider Riders. You can see they're down to 35 unit models already. The Depths Creepers, though, with their regeneration, won't take as much damage. They're only down to 43 unit models. But Wild Riders, we are going to have to be careful. I'm just trying to bait the Wild Riders into an isolated engagement here on the flanks. They are going to charge in and get in on the Depths Creepers a little bit here, but hopefully I don't lose too many unit models. It does look like they get decked pretty hard there. But not able to catch the Wild Riders, unfortunately. So we're going to try once again in just a moment here. You can see the Doom Diver that I have is opening up shots on this Azrai Spear. It does do a very nice damage against non-armored units especially, so already generating some really nice value there. These Biggins and the Night Gobbo Archers are also pushing up, just trying to get some shots off on the Sisters of Thorn here. And yeah, just pushing up all across the line on the infantry. We did get a nice early charge in with the Gobbo Wolf Chariots. Going to be punching through the front line of Dryads and then immediately inundating these Glade Guards here in the back line. Just trying to cause as much disruption as possible and some early damage before the fighting gets underway. This Gobbo Wolf Chariot unfortunately got a little bit bogged down in the Dryads and is going to get routed off. Hopefully they'll come back. But the Tiefrabbas and the other Wolf Chariots charging through the Glade Guards here in the back line. Very good stuff. We've also got over on the far side a little bit of a pitched engagement developing. We were able to isolate the Wild Riders here, and now we're coming in with the Spider Riders and the Wolf Riders. Trying to get in here on these Wild Riders. We isolated from the one side with the Depths Creepers and the Spider Rider Archers, and now just charging them from the other side with the Gobbo Big Boss leading the way here, providing leadership support for all these mounted goblins, and the Horde, the Gobbo Marauder Horde, I guess. It's just chasing down all these Wild Riders. They are going to get routed off the side here. And we're also just dispatching the Warlord's boys to annoy these Sisters of Thorn here. Fortunately, this Night Gobbo got isolated by the War Dancers, but we're getting a little bit more of a pitched engagement underway in the center. These Night Gobbos ran in early on. Got some nice support from the Night Gobbo War Boss, but now the heavies are moving in, going to be chopping through these Dryads without too much trouble. Biggins moving out towards the flanks as well, where the The Unbreakable Night Goblins are going to be fighting up against these troops here. With the support of the Biggins, they should do relatively well there. We've also got, you know, Night Goblins firing online from the side. But over here, this concerted push by all these Night Gobbo mobile forces, we've also got the support of some Biggins here just going to be collapsing in on this unit of War Dancers, who otherwise would do a lot of damage to the Biggins and other units in this pocket, but just being alpha striked here, poisoned, dragged into the pits, and just, you know, the fear as well. I guess these guys are immune to psychology, so it's not too pertinent, but Moon Howlers have pretty solid combat stats at 30 attack and 28 defense. One thing to remember about Gobbo Wolf Riders as well is they have 60 unit models, which is more than other types of light cavalry. Even Spider Riders, for example, only have 45 unit models. You can see that the War Dancer that's been kind of in a protection has almost completely routed off by that Doom Diver there, so very cost effective so far. The Gobbo Wolf Chariots are still online as well, just riding through the back line, continuing to cause chaos in these Glade Guards here, getting some really nice impact damage, and yeah, just being an absolute menace. And these kind of pitched, isolated engagements are definitely going to favor the Greenskins, because the Greenskins one-on-one will outclass a lot of the Wood Elf units here, and in many situations we're able to get 3 or 4 units onto one Wood Elf unit, like this War Dancer, for example, that's way out of position. It's now surrounded by Night Goblins, and we've got, you know, Biggins. Very nice Penumbral Pendulum from my opponent, trying to spring them loose here, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to quite be enough. This Branch Wraith is also kind of way out of position here. It's been chasing archers around. Now it's going after the Doom Diver. Doom Diver's already pretty much paid itself off, though. I have it still targeting that Azrai Spear that shattered. A little bit of a mistake, but you know, things are starting to look up for the Gobbos and the few Biggins that they brought. We're pushing through the center pocket here with said Biggins. And yeah, you can see the Alpha Strike mobile force here is just cleaning up some forces in the back line here, getting on these Glade Guards and so on. The Wolf Chariots, I think, at this point have mostly been routed off, or no, actually, all 3 of them still online in the backfield. They're going to be met by the Sisters of Thorn here in melee and maybe taken off. It's a little bit tough to say. The Sisters of Thorn are a pretty considerable force in melee, but all things considered, you know, pretty close so far. The Goblins do have that missile attack as well, but it does look like a Shield of Thorns being popped there, so maybe the Wolf Chariots will rout off. We'll see. But meanwhile, this mobile force has gotten a little bit tangled up in this one relatively healthy Eternal Guard here. So we're going to be pulling them back and just letting the Biggins get the work done in this center pocket here. We've also got a few regrouped Night Goblins. They've got their little blades out. They're definitely super excited to get involved here. So yeah, it's going to be completely surrounding what's left of the Wood Elf forces here. The Glady is still relatively healthy, of course. She's running around in the back line, and we've been continuously using that the Tormentor Sword, just running around with this guy, catching out high-value targets. There was a point earlier that I wanted to show you guys, but I didn't quite get to, where I managed to catch out a unit of, I think it was Glade Guards or something. Not 100% sure, but anyway. Branch Wraith is continuing to chase down that Doom Diver while he's getting shot in the back by the Gobbo missiles here, and just being pulled apart in so many different directions here. The Wood Elves, who are normally, you know, pretty adept at that style of play, bringing a fairly headstrong build here, maybe expecting more of a headstrong build for myself, but just this mobile kind of hit-and-run style of Goblin play, very, very powerful in certain situations. You can see Prey of Anathrema going to pin down these Moon Howlers, and they're going to get charged on the side by the Sisters of Thorn here. However, we are going to bring in the other Spider Riders for some additional support here, just drag them down with that extra poison and everything. So yeah, these Sisters of Thorn are going to be gone relatively soon. They did do some nice damage there to the Moon Howlers, but the center pocket of infantry is also just being beaten to bits. The Black Orcs and the Biggins in here smashing these Eternal Guards here. We do have some regrouped Glade Guards in the back line, but at this point it's pretty much over. The Wood Elves really don't have too much of a chance of standing up to what's left, so we'll kind of just grab some cinematic action with the Spider Riders here, with the the Goblin Big Boss, of course, supporting, helping to keep this mobile force just running around, getting on the high-value targets where they need to. And honestly, the Greenskins can field a really nice variety of very cost-effective light cavalry. You saw even against a unit of Wild Riders, if you're able to get a favorable engagement where you have multiple units of, you know, regiments of Renown and Spider Riders and various units hitting from multiple angles, you can take down a unit of Wild Riders even with a lot lower tier light cavalry. So well played to my opponent. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. It's a really fun time playing with a mostly Gobbo build. I just brought the Biggins and the Black Orcs, who proved very useful just for a little bit of staying power in that front line in case my opponent did bring some War Dancers, which he did. We were able to isolate both of them relatively well, but yeah, you can see my opponent's infantry just didn't pay off super well. Some nice kills on these Sisters of Thorn. 72 is pretty decent. Losing the Wild Riders early on was pretty rough. That kind of conceded the mobility advantage to me. You can see he only had these two relatively expensive mobile units, where I have, you know, two melee mobile units, you know, 3 chariots, 2 skirmish cab, so just an overwhelming amount of mobility here, and that allowed me to kind of win that mobility advantage. And you can see both these Moon Howlers and the Forest Goblin Spider Riders picking up almost 60 kills each. Very nice. The Goblin Wolf Chariots as well. 63 here in an XP Chevron. These guys did some very nice work. 48 on the T-Frabas. Very good stuff. We've got 74 on the Doom Diver. Very cost effective. Even just trading 1-to-1 there, taking out that one War Dancer is cost effective. So I definitely like the Doom Diver in this matchup. Night Goblin Archers didn't end up getting a ton of kills at the end of the day, but they were kind of a distraction bait for that Branch Wraith, who did get 71 kills, but that was mostly against these archers. You know, he did keep them from firing into the main line, which I guess in and of itself was useful, but I didn't see, other than that Penumbral Pendulum, I didn't see too many spells that he had dropped. Maybe he did drop some healing and other stuff that I didn't catch there, but Goblins in the main line got a little bit run over by War Dancers and Dryads, but you know, they definitely came back and held their own there and helped, you know, these Biggins here with the poison and everything. And the Night Goblin War Boss himself got 29 kills. Again, he had a few plays with that Tormentor Sword that I missed, but still very useful, very cheap Lord. So if we go ahead and take a look here, actually, just briefly at the green skins. And, you know what, just for fun, we'll go to Crooked Moon here and have a look. So the Night Goblin War Boss, you can either take him on a Great Cave Squig, which gives him anti-infantry armor piercing, pretty solid stats overall. Not the best, but he is very cheap. If you put him on foot, though, only 25 armor makes him pretty squishy. However, this Spite of the Bad Moon means that with a 48 missile parry, he already has, you know, a 55% missile block chance, meaning, as you guys saw from Gobbo's replay that he sent me, you can get this guy over 100% missile block chance. You know, Tormentor Sword is also a very strong kind of pin-in-place AoE ability. It's the only green skin AoE pin-in-place ability you can take. I mean, obviously, not Skarsnik, Wurzag can take Effigy to Git, but this affects an area of effect and also debuffs melee attack. Can be very, very useful. And he's also under 1,000 points, so very cheap to bring him in this, guys. A little bit squishy, you have to be careful, but, you know, he can definitely be survivable in the right situation. And yeah, of course, Sneaky Steel, and we talked about here with the reduced power recharge rate, and you guys have seen some of my other all Gobbo games, but I just wanted to bring you a little bit more action because I know you guys sure enjoyed the last one, so here's some more for you. If you guys like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.